started hanging stuff was about in 1968. I come out the West Coast, and I'd been into a lot of relief sculpture, a lot of heavy stuff, like 2,000 or 3,000 square feet things on walls and that. And I was tired of working in just that kind of medium. I got into making mobiles and stuff. Just the place I was living in, there was a lot of breeze in that, and I used the breeze just to move the pieces. And then I got into more of a heavy thing. I'd been into metal things, I'd been into leatherwork and all that, and the materials I had kicking around happened to be a bunch of nails and a bunch of fishing line and stuff like that. I mainly make objects. I make an artistic piece, whereas you take somebody like Willie, and he collects his stuff. It's like antiques, mainly. Pieces, Newiples. He's got a Newiples collection like nobody I've ever seen. And he collects just pieces, banisters and old things that he won't sell to a shop, so they can set them up and dust them off and sell them for a high price. He'll give them to somebody that'll use them.
I don't know, I just saw all this stuff being destroyed years ago in Vancouver. They were all just pick out a few fine things and I think they'd use it for something, and then I just noticed that there's just one hell of a lot of it being destroyed. Figured at some time either I could use it or somebody else could. And I build a house out of it, you know, a castle, a rambling thing. I'm only going to take some essential things with me up there, because I know I'll always be collecting something somewhere.
And a lot of his things have been used over and over and over. And, well, that's Willie's trip. His trip is his own. It's a very pure thing.
Uh, 99.9% of the people in the district of North Vancouver are attached to sewers and attached to treatment plants. They're forced to do so. They have no choice. In fact, a couple of years ago, one man went to jail because he wouldn't pay the fine for hooking up. He finally hooked up. How can we have one set of rules for the people who are paying the bills and a different set of rules for the people who are paying no bills?
I worked for 16 years, and I contributed to unemployment insurance and welfare and all of that stuff, and I collected for a year. And I know what it's like when thinking of myself paying taxes and someone else living for nothing on those taxes. It's a drag. But the satisfaction of just surviving, of having to survive without welfare and doing it on my own is much more of a dance than ever I was able to do. Working for the telephone company, working as an assistant senior payroll clerk, class 2, group 7.
I lived in the city, or I live in the city when I live in Ottawa, and it's just like, you know, house to house, streets and roads and cement and no backyard. Whereas out here it's just, there's a lot of space, a lot of room to move, you know. You're living by yourself, but yet with a lot of other people, you know, where everybody's together. Whereas living in the city or living beside someone who you don't really know, there's no communication between you and your neighbor. You live in that house and that's his property, and you live in your own house and that's your property. There's just nothing, whereas out here, you're living beside someone and you know that person, and you're a part of that person just like that person's a part of you. But yet you're still on your own and that person is on their own. But you know that if you need them, that they're there, you know.
Old Michael next door. I'd call him an artist. I'd call him an artist, though he wouldn't call himself that. He's got a wood collection that's, it's really beautiful. He's up first thing in the morning with the sun. And he walks up to 4 or 5 miles away collecting wood. Mainly wood for fire and stuff like that. Brings it home, cuts it up, dries it, chops it, dries it, uses it, sells some of it. every month he's going over town. He gets his check, I guess, maybe pension check or something. He's usually he's on a binge for a few days and then he's back. And this is his home, you know. It's a very close place to him. He's been living here, I forget how many years, just years and years. He's a very intelligent man, though. Most people can't communicate that much with him because he just hears mainly in his right ear and he doesn't hear too good in that one. He's a real friend. I'd sure hate to see him be kicked out of this place because, well, he doesn't seem to have a place to go, whereas all of us can just hit the road or hit a friend's place or hit another town or something and get along just good. Have to look for another place to live, of course, but it's pretty tough for Michael. It's sort of just